All right, we good?
We are rolling. Let's see if I can find my overlay. Where is it?
There it is.
Welcome everybody to Comic Book Clobberin time.
Do you know what time it is?
It's Clobberin time!
I like that music though.
You know, you can come to J Hood Creative on any Saturday morning, not any Saturday morning, every other Saturday morning, and get professional YouTube content like this. Morning, Metarog. Good morning, Rob Boswell. He's been hanging out. I'm here with my regular compadres, Alan Schell on the line, and we've got Coach Vic in the background.
Woohoo!
Where? I don't see him.
Put your hand in front of the camera.
I'm behind the Pulp Fiction poster.
There he is.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait a second. Let me show you the black side so you know it's me.
I can hear that voice.
I feel so uncomfortable now.
Ooh, well, can I tell a story then?
Yes.
So yesterday morning, I am, or afternoon, I'm finishing up the Gilmore Girls series, and I get a text from Jamie, like, "Are you watching Discovery Show? Because you're one of six on the wheel." I'm like, "Really?" So immediately I'm good and there, and I get on time to say, just to hear Discovery say, "And remember, you had a good time." I'm like, "No, I didn't. Did I win?" And so the last night, Jamie texts me again, says, "Make sure you sub up Mr. Miracle. We're doing a big push, and if he gets 980, Metarog is giving away a cool package." I'm like, "Okay." So I subbed him up. I was like, "Well, what channel is this on?" So he told me the 84, so I went to Comic Book 84, and I sat there the whole time, watched, and right when Comic Book 84 is getting ready to sign off, Mr. Miracle hit 980. We're like, woohoo. And then this time I was a 1 in 8 chance to win. And I won. Yay, nice. Me.
The price back was West Coast Avengers miniseries.
Yes, West Coast Avengers, I think, is 1 through 4. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. Apparently, I'm building a West Coast Avengers lineup here.
Now you got to get all of them.
You're just asking.
And Force Works.
Collect West Coast Avengers.
I've never heard of West Coast Avengers before I met you. Actually, before I got one in my box from Jack B.
So one of the claims to fame, besides the Vision Quest storyline, is the introduction of the Great Lakes Avengers.
I have one of those books.
Okay, there you go.
I got it. That was one of the books I picked up for him.
There you go. So we here in the Midwest, we're an hour or two from Lake Michigan, so we're all about the Great Lakes around here. Mm-hmm. Let's highlight that comment from Metarog. Congratulations, Vic. Exciting you win.
Thank you.
We've also got nobody else but me. Well, now you got us, so welcome to the show. So I want to shout out our sponsor, Al Schell, who's with us today.
Look, my thumb's coming out.
Go to his TeePublic page and find some great looking merch like this.
Merch.
Let's see if I can share this tab.
To quote the great Kevin Nash, Big Sexy, buy the shirt.
Oops, I didn't go far.
Hey, what is that? That isn't a weird porn site, is it? No, weird.
So go to TeePublic and look up Art of Alan Schell or Al's Pop-Up Shop.
I'd go to Google and just type in Art of Alan Schell, TeePublic or something, because the way TeePublic does it, it's hard to even find the separate shops. And another thing, right now, TeePublic is getting hit with a lot of orders, so it takes a while to get a shirt.
I know. I ordered one 3 weeks ago, but I haven't heard anything since. But, man, some great-looking stuff.
Nobody else but me wants to see that awesome cup again. Yeah. Well, the latest one I put up was the Joker. You can show it while I talk. That's fine.
I thought you gonna leave your hand there.
There you go. Yeah, that's from the '66 intro from the old Batman show.
Yep.
It's one of the villains. I want to do one where they're like being hit off, where they're,
Right.
That's kind of a combination of two of the scenes because the one guy in front of Joker is from a different, I believe he's from a different show that I just was like, he looked the most interesting. I could be wrong. I could be making this up.
That guy right there?
Yeah. Because they have different color backgrounds.
So yeah, you can get the art on a mug, you can get it on a t-shirt. What else do they offer, Al?
Oh wow, they got you can get it on phone covers. You can get them on buttons, stickers, but the stickers are tiny, man. I got some of the stickers. I got stickers. I got bigger stickers that you hook up with me. I'll send them to you. I got bigger ones.
What about those pop tabs that they put on the back of phones now?
I don't think they have those yet. You should write them up and say that. They got magnets, wall tapestries. I mean, like you can just get like a big poster. You can get my favorite, throw pillows. You can get on the throw pillows.
What about
sweaters?
Can we get socks?
Not yet. I don't think they might be getting there. Oh, you can do COVID masks now. You can get masks with the, but they're not medically they're not they're not the $6 million man masks. They're the half.
Right.
They won't get you there. But this one got some cool stuff there. But the stickers, they depressed me. So I went out and got my own stuff. Started making my own stickers.
Did you make any comic book Clobberin time stickers?
I could. If Jamie wants to do that, we can do that anytime.
Jamie, Victor wants to. What we got to do? I'll make it happen.
All right.
I got birthday money coming here.
Your birthday?
Next Saturday, June 20th is my birthday.
Oh, wow. Hermetically sealed, baby.
I turned 28.
28? You're not a day over 42.
True.
Yeah, about 6 days old. Six times 3. Never mind.
Kung Fu mask.
Kung Flu mask. I like it.
Right. So I hate to bring the show to a halt, but so we lost a major figure in the history of comic book creating yesterday.
Where'd you put him?
He's buried in a hole in the back.
Oh, wow. You
went really dark really fast. We're talking about,
speaking of dark,
Denny O'Neil. And I pulled out a few quick examples from my collection. I've got the treasury of the Ra's al Ghul saga from Batman that he and Neil Adams did.
Ra's al Ghul, he's the one that trained the Green Arrow, right? Oops.
So he actually paid Neil Adams for an autograph on that. Not the current rate, probably $25 or so.
Who signed it? Who else signed it?
So Denny O'Neil's up there and Neil Adams right there.
Oh, okay.
So of course this is. Sorry, I'm gonna make myself big real quick.
Go ahead.
So my current whale right now is to find the Green Lantern 76 in a reasonable condition for a reasonable cost. So this is what I have right now. It's a reprint of that I had signed several years ago by Denny O'Neil. I've shown this quite a few times. It's got a Denny O'Neil signature right there. It's one of my favorite early childhood Batman issues. Of course, this is probably the biggest Denny O'Neil book in my collection right now. He did that with Neil Adams again. And I think the one thing we take for granted about Denny O'Neil is we always look at his writing body of work, which obviously very, very respectable, iconic key work. But he also kind of controlled the whole history of Batman for several years as an editor. And he edited things like this. that kind of he and Neil Adams. We were talking to Al about this earlier. He and Neil Adams kind of brought Batman back to the Dark Knight detective themes in the 70s, and in the 80s, this really kind of turned the door to really kind of darken the character and comics in general.
That's from the 80s?
Yeah.
It's funny because, I'm so new to this. I just assume that's a newer, like 2000s.
No, from the 80s. Of course, the follow-up was Batman Year One. He edited that. He edited things like, the death of Robin. Make that telephone call. Are we going to kill Robin or not? For me, one of the times I personally got to meet him, I think this was the first time he was doing a signing at a comic shop while I was in college, and this came out. And that's Joe Quesada on the cover, and he signed on the first page in that one.
Sword of Azrael.
Yeah, so the Jean-Paul Vallée is the guy behind the Azrael mask. And so as the story would play out, he edited, the introduction of Bane, which led to Bane breaking Batman's back.
Is that what the real cover looks like?
Yeah.
Huh.
And then which led back to, and I didn't have an example of this, but Jean-Paul Vallée becomes Batman.
Oh, okay.
As a result of that, which, truth be told, I can't stand Bane. I'm not a Bane fan.
I was born in the dark.
I wasn't a Jean-Paul Vallée fan. I liked the character design of Azrael, but it kind of ended there.
I mean, he's named
like those big hands.
Right. What's that, Al?
I said you like those big hands.
I do. With big...
those big oven mitts.
Oven mitts.
With 3 fingers. Is that like a Liefeld foot?
There are 4 knuckles and 3 fingers. This was one of the storylines I really enjoyed from back in the day, the No Man's Land, where Gotham City was kind of shut down. Essentially what happened in the last Batman Christian Bale movie, where they kind of blew up the bridges, and in the comics it was more of a governmental thing. The government was just tired of putting up with all the mess in Gotham, and they said, everybody get out. We're going to blow up the bridges, and if you're left, you're going to have to fend for yourself.
Get out.
And then the last book I've got to show again is this, and I showed this on a video one time.
That's the book to bury, not to bury you with, right?
Right. This is kind of the biggest, most priceless, as I described it, for book in my collection, and it's because of this spread that has so many names of great Batman creators.
So is that my birthday gift? Oh wait, no, you already gave me those new guys. Thank you.
And
so cool.
Denny O'Neill's autograph is right there, that silver one.
How many do you need left to complete your collection?
Well, there are men that have died that I never had a chance to get autographs from. But I was thinking about that today, or yesterday when I heard about Denny O'Neill. I was like, there's probably, I don't know, it might be 50-50 as far between the people living and dead of the autographs here.
Oh. I remember the one story you told. It's like my favorite sad story that you told.
The one about Joe Giella. Yeah, go back and find my video on my priceless comics. And I told the story about getting Joe Giella to sign that book. Let's see what.
So, do you have any of Denny O'Neill's like Charlton comic issues that he did?
I don't. I mean, I know he obviously had a big career at DC, and I was trying to go back. I know he was an editor at a certain point at Marvel, and I was trying to find if I had any of the work he edited there. And I know he wrote some books. I have some Daredevils, but I couldn't find anything that was really key or noteworthy.
Do you know where he got his start?
I don't.
I was asking.
Oh.
No, I know that there are so many kind of memorial messages and things like that going out right now that I imagine we're going to get a concise history of his career here pretty soon. So keep an eye out for that kind of thing.
I would imagine Bleeding Cool has to have an article come out.
I wouldn't go to Bleeding Cool for something like that.
Or CBR then.
CBR, yeah.
I think one thing we're gonna learn is there's always people that when they pass away. I mean, he's a big deal, but when they pass away, you're kind of like, oh, it's sad, but you don't really know the effect they had on pop culture or your life. And then as it goes and you learn, and you're just like, oh, that's him. Oh man. And then you know, which is sad. You got to learn afterwards.
Yeah.
But you know, his legacy will live on. You know, so he had a great legacy, and I'm sure many moons from now we'll be talking about him.
And this will help us segue, but that's kind of the work a creator leaves behind is their legacy, and that's what they obviously become known for. I mean, we're not going to know the ins and outs of Denny Neal's life. I would suggest if you do want to get to know more about Denny Neal personally, you could go to Kevin Smith did a series of interviews with him that were great. Denny talked about, you know, things that he kind of dealt with and went through in his life that, you know, weren't. I mean, all we see is the great stellar work, and in those stories, he kind of fills us in on, the work. You might like the work, but some of the stuff I was going through, he dealt with substance abuse and is very open about that. And I saw one of the memorial messages I saw from Bill Sienkiewicz said that Denny helped him kind of pull through some of the issues he was dealing with along those lines. So it's both the legacy of the work and then the impact on the people he was working with and then the people that consumed his work. Minarog's, he's one of the big kind of knowledgeable guys in the community. I think he started at Charlton during the 60s. That would be my guess.
Yeah, I was thinking that, but I didn't want to that's what he did, because I think I remember they said that Dick Gianardo brought him over, like, hey, come work on Batman and stuff like that. Carmen Infantini. I suck at names. Sorry, it's too early for me.
Giordano. All right, so like I said, this is going to help us transition. One of the main topic we wanted to talk about this morning was Al and I are both artists, and in the last couple weeks, I've delivered a couple commissions, and I had one more ready that I kind of held back and picked at, and that will arrive with the customer this week. So,
was it a spaceman?
The spaceman, yeah. I'm gonna have to show everybody the spaceman sometime. That Al will always talk about. I'm my own worst critic, so if I don't like something, I'll come back to it a lot later, and that's kind of what happened with this one commission I was working on.
Kind of like how I feel about the one that you did like 18 years ago at the men's retreat. Where I'm like, this is great. You're like, I got like 80 more hours to put into this. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, the thing I've learned about myself as far as being a creative and doing art is that's where the one area where I get all the control. It's like I can figure out what's going to happen, and I can tell when it's done. And usually I get to like 98% of done, and then I got something else chomping at the bit in the background that I got to get to. So I think we'll start with you, Al. I picked up a few things, a few images from a video you did last night on Facebook.
Oh, don't play that. That's naughty.
Well, I'm not going to play the video. I am going to show.
I curse like a sailor on some of those.
I didn't rename these, so let's see.
Yeah, just put them up.
That's not the right one.
Oh. I can talk about it. No? Okay. Well, obviously, I was drawing.
I want to find I've got all the steps here. I want to find the first one.
The first one's just looks like I drew it with lipstick.
Yeah, I don't get previews of the images. I just get file names, and they're kind of gibberish.
Yeah. That's why when I put up all those questions, I titled them, remember? That's what you should do. You're a producer now. You need to do that.
3598. I'm looking for 3598. Boom. There we go.
All right. Now, if you look at this, if you want to blow it up bigger, you can. I don't know if it'll. It looks like it's drawn with like just either lipstick or Crayolas. Actually, it's digital. I work digitally now, and this is actually more detailed than the underneath. I actually had a layer underneath it, which was just blue scribbles. I was just like, all right, here's his shoulder, here's his head, here's his,
There we go.
And that's how I work. I do like, if anybody's familiar with like Adobe and stuff like that. So it's basically you have one layer, you dribble on that, get another layer, break some stuff out, get everything where you want it to go, kind of throw some detail on it, and then I don't know. Well, it's one thing because I'm doing these live streams now, so I'm trying to do them in a certain amount of time.
Right.
And they've gotten, well, I start talking to people on there, I start talking to my friends that get on there. And this is actually a suggestion one of my friends made. He was like, hey, draw Trapjaw from Masters of the Universe. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll draw him, but I'll, draw him a certain way. Usually I draw on-brand stuff. If you go to my TeePublic page, you'll notice I have a lot of on-brand looks. But I wanted to draw something that, I don't know, it's just this dirty and muddy version of Trapjaw.
Sure.
So, yeah, so usually I just go in, throw down the light blue. I mean, even when I use regular pencils and stuff. Okay, yeah, so here, if you can see, there's red underneath the inks. So if you can remember the last where it looked like I drew it with a crayon and there wasn't much detail. So then I go in and I just ink it and detail the hell out of it, overshade it, over ink it. I've never
digitally.
Yeah, it's all digital.
Yeah. So if somebody were doing this on pencil and paper, you could do, like Al said, he would usually use like a blue line pencil, and then maybe sometimes I've seen you go in with a regular pencil on top of that and tighten it up before you do your inks. You could also do the same thing. I'll show you the process I did on one of mine where I used tissue paper, where you do a rough drawing and then lay the tissue paper on top and then tighten up that way. So Al's working digitally, where his tissue paper is just a separate layer within his Photoshop file.
And then you just erase the red behind it.
Well, it's when you get into the Adobe Creative Suite, you can work on layers, so you just hide that layer.
Okay.
Yeah, just turn it off. Yeah, I do. That, Rob, what I do is, like the red, like if you noticed the previous picture, the red was bright. I go in there, put everything where I want it to be, and then I drop the opacity down, and I go in there and then I do like a thick, gaudy ink over everything to make it look like garbage.
Let's see if I get this next one.
But I just go crazy with it. I was just trying to make him look. I just wanted to, like in those live streams, I try to draw crazy stuff. What I wanted, like my versions of stuff.
Right.
Yeah, this is without the red there, Coach. If you can see it.
Yeah.
I dropped. I just turned the red off, and that's just the straight inks. And many times I'll do that just like while I'm drawing it. I want to keep that for like the, if you get like most inkers, or I think Jamie, when he inked some of my stuff, I don't remember, he put like a tracing paper down and then inked over that. So then the original page would still be there. But since it's digital, I don't have to worry about that.
Oh, it's really amazing, though.
And that's as far. I didn't finish in the video last night. That was a 2 hours. That took me 2 hours. Of course, I was jibber jabbering, and then so yeah, I did this. After the show, and I was like, well, I want to, like, I added the claw arm and stuff like that, and the colors. And if you notice, he has a wrestling belt on instead of his normal, instead of his skull belt, because it looked like it always looked like a championship belt to me, so I made it into a championship belt. And a lot of that, I just goofed around, add, like, pistons and all the different crazy stuff.
Right.
I mean, if you look at the figure, it's completely different. And too bad you can't, like, zoom in on the face, because I really like the face. I'm sure if you did that, it would look pixelated. But I got his eyes are crazy, I wanted him, like, he's got one eye's all wide open, the other one's kind of squinty.
Mm-hmm.
And one cool thing about him, like on the cartoon, is he had big bushy. Yeah, that's he had big bushy eyebrows. Yeah, he's too sweet. He's NWO.
That's the 24/7 belt he's wearing?
No, man, that's like the old. I tried to do the old winged eagle.
Rob, I use a Wacom 4 both at work and at home. What do you use, pal?
I think it's the bamboo, the Wacom bamboo. It's old. And I'm using Manga Studio, but they changed to Clip Studio, and I have yet to, like, dust that off, because I'm getting a new computer, a new laptop, and I'm going to wait one of these days. Yeah, but no,
I use the Wacom 10.
Yeah, I need a new Wacom tablet, but everybody's telling me I should just get a tablet where I can just draw straight onto it. But since I'm used to looking at the screen and then, like, drawing over to the side now, I don't know if I could. It'd flip me out.
Let's see if I can get this. There we go. So,
Hulk smash.
I did that Hulk Hogan piece for.
Oh man, you're gonna.
So this is what it started out as. It's the Immortal Hulk one.
Oh yeah. I'm just thinking to the finished product. This is what you started with. Yeah.
You're gonna blow me in the dirt with this one. You're gonna knock me in the dirt with this Hogan piece. I see.
So
that's what he did.
I don't have a scan of this, and I'm not sure how well it's going to show up on screen. So what I do is, so what I've learned is the blank cover stock it's actually more respectable than I thought it was going to be, as far as holding up to damage, like drawing, erasing, redrawing, that kind of thing. And I do more erasing than drawing. So what I do is I do the drawing on a separate sheet, and in this case, I did a rough drawing on another sheet and then went back on top and this is tracing paper with a sheet where I've scribbled on the back of it.
Man, that's a lot of work.
So
you do calligraphy too?
Yeah. So I work out my drawing on, as tight as I can get it on this tracing paper, and then this scribbling I use to transfer that. If you go back over with a pencil over all the lines, it will transfer to the cover. So that's how I get from the drawing onto the cover without essentially trying not to damage the cover.
But do you have to do it backwards though?
Yeah.
No, it's right reading.
Good if you lay it on the cover.
So this is graphite. This is just a pencil scribbled on the back.
Oh, you lay it on the cover.
Yeah. So it's just like transfer paper.
Okay. All right. I'm with you now.
So you don't like draw straight on the cover. You're worried about having to erase on the cover, huh? I see what it is.
Yep.
You're scared.
You're
scared, Hood. Go finish your Spaceman.
The thing you risk if you overwork the paper on the cover is that the ink will bleed when you go to ink it. You damage the fibers and And
Look at that. Oh my goodness.
I just assumed it was a black book.
yeah, I had marker on it. And
That is awesome. Like, you need to start doing wrestling prints, man. I'm telling you, you'd eat it up.
You could sell like 10 of those for like 200 each, I'm sure.
I don't
Like,
know about that price.
do a Liger, do a Juice and Thunder Liger, bro. Oh my goodness. Do a Great Muda. Oh my god.
I don't even know the names you're talking about.
That's the problem. You need to get in on this.
You know, The Rock, the most electrifying man in sports entertainment today.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, one of my, I'm not gonna. Okay, so they say, it's a poor handyman that blames his tools. So one of the things I deal with is that I've got a limited set of marker colors. So a lot of this, the flesh tones on this really worked out well for me, but I was really sweating it because I wasn't sure if the markers I had were going to be able to do what I needed them to do. And the white, just leaving the bits of white to show up as, the kind of a oiled up physique was pretty much me just, okay, I got to color this in. Oh, I'll leave that light and see how it looks. And I just ended up leaving it because it did turn out really well. So of anything, you learn, and if you do it right, you're learning in each thing you do. So that's the one thing I learned in this that I need to take away and do in the ones I'll do in the future, which is leave some white in the coloring work.
Yeah.
Comments from the chat. Thank you, Rob Boswell. Thank you, Betterog.
Uh-oh.
He posted on Instagram that he's fine, Rob. It was a muscle cramp or something like that.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. But he posted it like, I don't know, 5 o'clock. He's like, yeah, I'm going to go to the emergency room after the hunt tonight because I think I'm having heart problems. And everybody's like, just go now and come back and do the hunt later. But
He's like, I don't want to lose my title, right?
No, he said, well, if I'm going to, pretty much his sentiment was, so if I'm going to die, I want to have some fun first. So,
Okay.
biggie.
Can't you see? Sometimes your rhymes just hypnotize me. You didn't know you were going there, did you?
I don't even know where you went.
Well, you started off a Biggie Small song, Hypnotize. Biggie,
Oh,
Biggie.
man.
You see? Sometimes your rhymes just hypnotize me. That's probably going to get deleted for copyright.
No.
No, it's your cover, so it's okay.
Yep.
You can cover it. You just can't do the original.
All right. So another piece I delivered this week was to Comic Books NYC. And he had bought this commission from me through the Comic Core charity auction for Midwest Comic Man. His daughter went through some medical stuff and they had bills to pay. So Comic Core put together a big charity auction. I donated a piece of my coloring artwork from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Creed, the crossover I did back in the 90s where I colored it. He bought one of those pages, or bought a cover, and then bought this commission as a separate deal. So that was at least 6 months ago. I said, it's going to take me a while to get to this. And he said, take your time, which is never tell me to take my time, or it's going to take forever.
I was surprised.
Yeah.
So I did have other, paying assignments I had to do, but it took me a while to get to it. And he was really great about it. So he was never in any hurry. So the assignment was, what I worked out with him was, let's do, he's a Batman fan. He collects Golden Age stuff, and he's an art collector. So what if we do take the Golden Age Batman and do kind of a harder edge, more modern look at him, and let's, as for what the characters are doing, let's emulate that Carmine Infantino poster that was in a, I don't know if it was in the issue that had the first appearance of Poison Ivy or somebody, but it was a centerfold piece of art at one time in a comic book.
And my favorite thing he said was, I don't want to give too much direction because I still want to put his J Hood spin on it.
Right. So what I wanted to do is I'd seen artists do their take on Batman with the wide ears and guns, but I also wanted to include Robin. So the problem, the biggest problem is how do you deal with those wide ears? The Golden Age Batman had these kind of ears that stuck out versus the long pointy ones like a Neil Adams would draw, or the real stubby ones like a Frank Miller would draw. And then it became what I really wanted to work out was, okay, what would they really look like in real life? And so I really wish I'd have taken a lot of photos along the way of my process drawing on this, because I drew in and erased and drew in and erased a lot of details. Like his shirt was going to be like a knit sweater, like you were going to be able to see these real thin like lines in it from the fabric of the sweater, and it was going to go all the way up his neck, and then his cowl was going to be clearly metal from kind of the
Metal
wrapping around his ear and go up.
Very metal.
And the neck, the knit neck was going to be what made up the side of his mask and even cover his ear. And then I spooked myself. I was like, and Kavi started showing his collection, and I started chickening out on all this crazy stuff I wanted to do with it. So I kind of dialed it back. I was like, I want to make sure that he's going to want this in his collection, so I don't want to go too far off the rails with it. But I did want to draw the holsters, and I wanted Robin in it, and I wanted it to be like, okay, this is that transition we never saw of between Batman with the wide ears and the pistols, and then the introduction of Robin, where everything kind of lightened up a little bit. So this is the working sketch I did, and so this then was transferred to a board, an illustration board.
Yeah, you give Batman all I love, but you still got Robin running around in underwear.
Yep.
Did you send all the stuff to Kavi?
No, he just got the original piece. I've still got the drawings here.
Okay.
What we got?
Okay, so this is so I took what you saw in the last image, transferred it to an illustration board, and started polishing it up from there. So this is what they in the commercial art or illustration field would be considered the finished pencil. So from this standpoint, the drawing is all there, and then it's a matter of painting or rendering on top of that. So again, we're harkening back to the Carmine Infantino piece. Actually, Victor, next to the comic book index, there's a Batman hardcover, and I think this cover is on that. It's right next to the big white box on the shelf.
Up here?
No, down by your knees.
Oh.
And don't forget, I believe Murphy Anderson inked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you say about you, Murphy?
Murphy Anderson inked
the
original piece. So okay, so here is the Carmine Infantino piece that kind of inspired the pose.
Oh, okay.
I don't look anything like what you did.
I know, right?
Did you make it look like me and my nephew?
Let's see here. What do we have next?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this is the illustration board after I've inked it. So I haven't filled in. Well, I filled in the black on the cowl, and that was about it. I would fill in the blacks later with. I think I actually used acrylic paint. Excuse me. The size of this piece is it's part of an illustration board. So the total height, I believe, is 20 inches. So roughly 14 by 20, something like that.
See, I don't know if I can go back to paper now. Like, I can't ink on paper. I can ink, you know.
So cool.
There you go.
Hold on.
Shouldn't he have purple gloves?
No,
I missed something. Hold on.
I was really impressed when I saw it. 'Cause I've seen it throughout various stages. But when I finally saw the finish, I was like, wow. Okay.
We got to show that little. Okay.
Oh, yeah. There you go. You happy now?
So at this point, the whole. Okay, so the assignment was full color, so I knew that was part of it. So normally, when you do a cover like the Hulk Hogan one, you color it with markers, alcohol markers, much like these. This is the one set I went and bought for myself.
Is you.
So I've got
As
that.
you.
But the thing about alcohol markers is that they
get you drunk.
I would not suggest drinking them. They soak into the paper, and they're such that you can blend colors together, or you can go back over a place you've been and darken it. So places where you see, like on the gray on his arm, like if it's a light gray, it's one pass of the marker. If it's a darker gray, it's 2 or 3 passes of the marker, the same color, just going over it again. And then I do have a few other darker grays that I ended up using. But if you've only got a real limited palette of colors, it's hard to get a big kind of variety of depth. So, and I also felt that this was coming out too bright or brilliant, color-wise. It was a little bit too potent for what I was going for. So I wanted to, and I knew the background was going to be the orange moon, I guess, and the purple sky.
Silver horseshoes.
So let's see, where did I go from here? Number 5. There we go. Go back to this one. So I took what I had and kind of went over it with essentially like a sepia colored acrylic. I had skipped I didn't take a photograph of, and I wish I would have, of painting in the sky and the moon. Those were just painted in. And I was also, part of the problem was that I was seeing too many brush strokes in that. So by going over the whole thing with just a real light wash of a sepia color with the whole painting or the whole illustration, it kind of tied everything together.
What's a sepia color?
Sepia is like a brown, like a grayish brown.
Okay. So when you say you went over it, it just lightened everything or darkened everything?
Just darkened and dirtied it up a little bit is the mission.
He likes it dirty.
So that's that.
Nice.
And then, in this, I wanted to get photos. I should have taken photos before the stage, but I had already started going in. So I went in with some colored pencils and started lightening up highlights again. So the idea is it was too bright. The sepia wash kind of darkened everything and dulled it down. Now I'm going in and picking out highlights and lightening some highlights again.
How hard was it to get in between those buildings? Like you got little slivers in between buildings.
It was somewhat difficult
to. How small of utensils do you have to get in there with?
That's personal.
I actually wanted it to look somewhat painterly in the background, and it was difficult because, in a space like this, you have to use a smaller brush. In a space like this, you have to use a larger brush, so it wasn't looking unified, and that's part of what the sepia helped hide.
Oh, okay.
Now, is this happening during the Crisis on Infinite Earths? Because that background is very purple.
Well, again, I was emulating the.
I know. I'm just busting your chops.
Where did we go? Did we do this one?
Yes, did number 4 or number 5.
Okay, so this is a photograph of the finished piece. So you can see I've gone in and put in a lot of highlights to help really shed light on the subject matter. The one thing that if I hadn't already taken forever and didn't have other projects breathing down my neck, I would have gone in and put a few architectural highlights on the buildings in the background.
Oh, like there here.
Well, in the original, they were just hints of buildings and that they were lines and it was a different color, but it didn't have any lights on in that either.
Oh, I have a Jamie Hood translation. He said he would go back and do it. I think if he had more time, he would waste it and continually go in and tweak everything when he's already done with it, but he still wants to add to it.
Guilty.
Hey, Wes.
Guilty.
Yeah. If Jamie had more time, he'd still be working on that piece from 8 years ago.
That's right. He got that Spaceman's knee done.
Like, oh, you know what? I can use
We'll
a
Tuesday,
little star here.
Hey, let's before I show the last image, let's take time to shout out the people we've still got in the chat. Metarog was just taken off. Captain Comics has stopped in. Nobody else but me is still here. Oregon Wime, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And Rob Boswell is still hanging out. So here is one last look at the whole piece, and this is a scan, I hope.
Uh-oh. It's a scam. What? Oh.
So it's perfectly flat and gives the best representation of what the final turned out like.
Well, this is a sketch card, right?
For a giant.
Andre the Giant. You should draw Andre the Giant. I think earlier Rob said Bret Hart. You should draw Bret Hart. Okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Rob's one of the guys on my commission list. I'm starting to get to the point where I can start working through that.
Why don't you just do the Whole Heart Foundation? I know how much he likes to do people. First person's free. Yeah, I know.
Don, you get some that wrestling money.
Wrestling. Tell you, there's a market here for you in wrestling.
That's what I'm hearing. You guys are telling me there's a market for some wrestling art.
There is some.
I've been to a lot of wrestling events. For as many people walking around with them $300 belts that they buy there.
Man, Jamie, I'm telling you, it's at conventions, comic conventions, you probably find one or two people doing it. But then they also, when it comes back around, they have something called StarCast, so it's like a big convention. They'll give you a booth, fly you out, man. If they hit up my buddy AJ, man, and he does all he does is really wrestling guys, and
oh yeah.
It's great, man. I'm telling you, you can make some quiche. Make little quiche.
I'll take that under advisement.
Yeah, I'll see you in 10 years.
You know what time it is? Pop quiz time.
Is that the same? Pop quiz time.
We're
Pop quiz time.
Pop quiz about... Let's not let that fall too far.
We only have the 4.
Oh, if I get
number 1.
What is the pop quiz about? That question number 1.
How many number 1s are there? No. No.
All right, so here's how we're going to do this one. It's going to be head-to-head. Me against Al. Coach Vic is the referee. He's got 3 questions for each of us. He says they're very easy, so that we might have a tie. but that's okay because we got a tiebreaker question. If one of us can't answer the question, we can steal. The other guy can steal. So, Rob Boswell says, Jerry the King Lawler. I'm gonna have to keep a list of all these names.
He's an actual artist too. Jerry King Lawler has done a lot of artwork, but you know.
All right, now remember, I could have been duped on a couple of these by Wikipedia and whatnot, but we'll see.
All right,
Who's going first? All right, got a number, odd or even? Pick a number.
2.
Oh, it was actually 2.
so does that mean he goes first?
You want to go first, Alan? Or you want to go second?
I'll let Jamie go first. So I can
All right. What is the name for this era of X-Men books? Yeah, see, like I said, I could have been duped on this one because you got the Uncanny X-Men, and then you have I can't remember what the other ones were.
What's the name of it?
But this group of books has a specific name.
Huh.
And when I tell you what it is, you're like, oh, duh. But
all right, I the Image era.
no. All right.
Alan? Let me give me a chance here. I don't know.
Okay, it was according to what I read, it's called the Blue Gold era.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see, all right.
Nobody.
Good question.
Again, I could have been duped by Wikipedia on that one.
You should have asked what were the 2 separate team names for.
All right, this is a 2-parter, all or nothing.
For Al.
For Al.
Me.
Who wrote this book?
Wait a minute. You mean this one? This was co-written by Chris Claremont and Jim Lee.
Okay. And how many books in this era did Chris Claremont write?
And 3 in this. He did 3 in this line of X-Men.
Why did he do a 4th one?
Because he had a falling out with the editor.
Yeah.
Was it Bob Harris?
There's 15 different versions of X-Men coming out at the same time. But yeah.
And Jim Lee left at issue number 11. Wait a minute. Hopefully that wasn't a question. But
As an X-Men fan, that's what killed me. Chris Claremont's been steering this ship for years, for 15, 18 years, something like that. He gets tired of working with Bob Harris and quits, and then Jim Lee, who's like the star at the time, quits 8 issues later.
well, yeah, he got that image going, man. He didn't care. Anyway, next,
baby. This one you should be able to get.
I hope so.
Who won the opening challenge and how?
Wolverine won the opening challenge.
How?
Psylocke hiding Wolverine psychically from Jean Grey. So he was able to kind of work up from the background, battle through these robots, and almost cut Professor X on the forehead.
Yes. Yes. But technically, he didn't win because you're supposed to touch Professor X. He never did touch him. That's all I'm saying. But
well,
yeah.
Well, he did say that he almost cut his head on the. Yeah.
All right. So, all right, Alan.
Yes.
Whose idea was it to make 2 teams?
Professor X?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yes. You know what the 2 teams were?
Really cool.
Yes. Cyclops. Huh. What was Nicholas Fury's?
Wait. This is going to me, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
What was Nicholas Fury's rank?
Colonel.
Yes. All right. Alan,
Yeah.
what is a flat scan?
Yeah. Hold on, let me think of what.
Man, I thought that's a pretty easy.
Was the robot inside the whatchamacallit, the danger room?
No.
It's anyone. It's a regular human. Anyone not a mutant.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That was the last question.
Win.
Wow. I mean, the tiebreaker is what are two of the names that the ruler of asteroid M was referred to?
Wait, say that again.
At least two of the names that the ruler of asteroid M was referred to. There's like four of them. He's called four different things.
Magneto, Master of Magnetism.
Yeah.
That's two.
Yeah.
I don't know anymore.
Lord Magneto.
Okay.
and Rogue called them Mags.
Okay.
Hey.
Each one had a different center spread poster.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What were the different posters of, Al?
Are you talking about the covers or the inside?
No, the center spread cover or the center spread posters. When they happen to reprint them in all four of them in this edition, which I was surprised to see. Cover price on the originals
$150.
$150.
See,
How much for this one?
probably what?
$4.
$9.95. Wow. See, I'm thinking that. See, I knew Vic was going to come up with these off the wall questions, and I knew it. I was like, I'm zigging, he's zagging, man. That's how it happens. That's what I thought he was going to do to me on the Milestone Comics one.
Well, that was supposed to be basic questions. I just assumed that we're staying with somewhat basic questions.
Okay, so does anybody have any guesses on what the posters were? There are four different ones.
Well, I know that one was like all of the mutants together.
I mean, one has to be a Magneto, I would imagine. By the way, let's talk about somebody ripped and looking like a god. Where happened to that Magneto?
Everybody Jim Lee Drew looked like that.
And the big rib cages too.
So the one you're talking about, Al, is actually the inside cover.
Right. That's the one I had.
I did take a copy of this and take the cover off, and I've got this as a poster somewhere.
Would it be
probably a Psylocke one where she's got her boobs out, and then there's probably a man.
Yeah.
That's all I gave a damn about.
So you had one of.
There you go, the villains. I knew the villains had one too. So.
Then they had the original team.
Wait a second. Let me see that original team. Storm wasn't part of the original team?
She didn't come in until January 1, which is what's driving the price of that book up. First appearance.
Oh, I was right. Psylocke has her boobs out.
You gotta have, it's the 90s, so you gotta have the swimsuit.
By the way, my question is, when did Storm become a black character?
She was always black.
Oh, okay. They must use the paper bag test.
Tell me about the paper bag test later. Then you had the Things to Come, which I don't know if they ever got to her.
Who's she?
I don't know.
That's the Black Queen.
I'm not going to say you're wrong, but I don't remember them ever doing the Black Queen before Jim Lee left.
So the posters were in each issue?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So each of these came out weekly. So this was the first week. Colossus and Gambit was the second week, yada, yada, yada. And then this one came out the fifth week. So
Oh, okay. Each of those number ones came out. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like.
So in that day and age, it was not unusual for fanboys like me to go and buy all 5 of them as they came out. And so that's how they ended up with 8 million copies sold.
8.1 to be exact.
8.1. Guinness Book of World Records.
Yeah, I was thinking of that was going to be a question. Like, how many?
Oh.
Flat scan.
Magneto must have suffered from negative current. I'm not sure what that means, but okay.
Flat scan.
All right, so let's just about going to wrap us up, but I want to mention we have...
and I'll have a prize for you next week, in 2 weeks.
Okay, cool. I wasn't expecting anything.
I'll do a sketch cover.
So this coming Tuesday night, we've got a show focusing on... We're doing an issue at hand, focusing on Crisis on Infinite Earths number 7. And we're going to have Metarog on. He was in the chat earlier. He will be on to go over this book with our usual issue at hand crew. And
where was he when we did the Crisis pop quiz, man? They love Crisis so much.
He did mention to me when I mentioned that to him on Facebook or on Instagram or something. He thought that sounded interesting, but people got things to do on a Saturday morning, so he might not have been able to make it. But yeah, he would have been a prime candidate to have on for the Crisis. He's offering you $10 for a Coach Vic sketch cover.
Ooh.
He might have a sale.
Yeah.
Now you gotta go buy a sketch cover.
Which is $10.
$10.
It's gonna be worth $10.
I have to tape a $10 bill to the inside cover, or yet to the outside cover.
That might be a good idea. Do a drawing of a dollar bill and put like a superhero in for the president. $1 million idea or $1 idea.
I think that's illegal, but no, it's illegal to write on money. But
right. All right.
I still have the. Go ahead.
No, if you got something to say, go ahead.
I still have the Heath Ledger Joker dollar bill that they were handing out in Chicago, and then
you too. Yeah, I've got one of those too.
Well, I was in C2. I was in Wizard World.
Okay, yeah, you're right. It was Wizard World.
I still have that. It's
I've got one in that bin over there.
Fine, I'm not special.
No, but it was a cool idea because they were getting ready to come out with that movie or was just released at Wizard World that year. You'd buy comics and get change back, and some of the dollar bills had the Heath Ledger or Joker taped on it or like glued to it. Like you got the dollar bill with the Heath Ledger thing on it.
Oh, okay.
It's one of the. I mean, they did a lot of cool marketing stuff with those movies back in the day, and they don't do much of that anymore. Kids are coming through. All right, we'll wrap this up. We'll see everybody next time, and remember, faith, family, comic books. We'll see you later, guys.